Now on CoastTV News.
Smoky skies today due to Canadian wildfires. The smoky conditions slowly improve over the next few days as temperatures soar into the 80s. I'll track the smoke and the warm temperatures coming up next.
The Delaware General Assembly moves closer to overriding Sussex County's decision on a big piece of the proposed wind farm project. What occurred in the state Senate Monday night?
Fire service strain, the challenges for first responders in Sussex County that are highlighted in an upcoming report.
Coastal change, the plans for hotel rooms and a restaurant under review tonight in Ocean City.
This is CoastTV News Today.
Welcome to our 6 o'clock hour. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. It is Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025.
Yeah, Bob had this earlier today.
Yes.
Looks like a good grass cutting day. I might take him up on that.
You're sounding positive about cutting grass? That is...
Well, it's more like it has to be done.
Yeah, but you sound more positive. I think that's personal growth.
Why are you going there?
I'm just
You know
messing
how
with
I
you.
feel.
Bob and I love to mess with you about
Bob knows how I
that.
feel about cutting grass.
I do. And Matt, I saw you talking about cutting grass and smiling at the same time. I know. Elisa, I saw it too. We both saw it. So Matt's going to be out there gung-ho cutting the grass. The weather's looking good for that. It's going to be dry. A cool start with temperatures in the 50s inland, except Harrington 49. The rest of us low to mid 50s, even upper 50s around Dagsboro, 60 Indian River Inlet, Rehoboth at 60. Winds are calm, a little bit of a westerly breeze, and with an offshore wind today, that should warm you up at the beaches into the 70s for a change. Otherwise, dry conditions this morning. And as we've been talking about, you look outside, it looks hazy because we have smoke from Canadian wildfires that is building into the area. And I think it'll be pretty thick aloft as we go through the day. We have high pressure in place right now, so kind of stagnant under that high. I'm not seeing any air quality issues or alerts right now. We'll continue to watch that. But if you do have health problems, it's best to stay inside in filtered air the next couple of days with the smoky conditions. We'll see temperatures warming up nicely with the sunshine today. By noon, we're into the upper 70s, close to 80 inland. And finally, beach locations from Rehoboth to Fenwick Island into the 70s, while inland areas, lower 80s in Millsboro and back through Salisbury, around 82 there, and Delmarva 82, a little cooler at the beaches. And if you're running and have health issues, you might want to take a break. Otherwise, once again, the air quality is not too bad. Lots of sunshine, light winds today. Otherwise, good running weather. 60s this morning into the 70s, upper 70s by noon, and then eventually lower 80s into the afternoon hours.
Thank you, Bob. And our top story this hour, new information about that controversial bill in the Delaware State Senate. If it's approved, it could lead to overturning decisions made by county governments. Senate Bill 159 would actually overturn the Sussex County Council's decision last year that rejected a proposed power substation near Millsboro. On Monday, the bill was released from the Environment, Energy, and Transportation Committee, following hours of testimony at Legislative Hall, many speaking against this broadening of state government powers.
To me, this is a waste of time. What the state ought to be doing is looking in the long term, and the long term is not offshore wind.
Bill, which affects the Delmarva coast, is sponsored by Democratic Senator Stephanie Hansen, who's not from Sussex County. She represents southern Newcastle County. A full Senate vote is scheduled for next week.
New this morning, potential change near the beach in Ocean City. Tonight, the town's Planning and Zoning Commission will review site redevelopment plans for a proposed 135-room hotel. According to documents we have seen, the applicant is Studio 3877 on behalf of Harrison Group's hotels. Also, a part of that plan is proposed 3,800 square feet of public restaurant space. That site is 2600 Baltimore Avenue and the current location of the flagship Oceanfront Hotel.
We have an update this morning on a study into the financial readiness of Sussex County's volunteer fire service. A presentation from officials is expected at today's Sussex County Council meeting. In a previous report given to the council, the consulting firm says the study looked at revenue, expenditures, and other challenges like infrastructure and volunteerism. The report says finances varied.
There are departments that have, no debt, significant reserves, and then there are companies that are really living hand to mouth.
Fire departments will have a chance to review the draft findings. Sussex County Council meets today at 10 a.m.
Also at the Sussex County Council meeting, upgrade plans continue for the Delaware Coastal Airport. According to the Airport Advisory Committee, they are looking at a new parallel taxiway. Officials will discuss an FAA Airport Improvement Program grant and construction bids.
We're checking out the scene this morning at Bethany Beach. This is where Coastal Highway intersects with Route 26. You can see the glow of the sun and maybe some of that haze that we mentioned earlier. The nightly curfew for those under 17, that ended about an hour ago, and this morning we're expecting to learn more about the effect of the curfew in Bethany Beach. Police Chief Patrick Foley is scheduled to provide an update during the Police Accountability Committee meeting. Again, currently people under 18 must abide by a curfew, 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. According to the town, this means they are not allowed in any public places during that time. The committee meeting takes place today at 10 a.m.
And you may remember it was back in May where Rehoboth Beach implemented a curfew after saying there were an increase in youth disturbances. Officials there put in place the same rules as Bethany Beach, 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. In Dewey Beach, the curfew is also at that time, 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. And in Benwick Island, the curfew is midnight to 6 a.m.
You have developing news in Milford. It's where a second gun has been found in schools in just under a week. On Monday, an unloaded gun was found in a student's backpack at Milford Central Academy. Police there say they posted a photo of it on social media. Another student reported it, prompted action from school staff and police. Officials are continuing to investigate both cases.
Happening now, Colorado authorities say the man who used a makeshift flamethrower to attack people marching in support of Israeli hostages held by Hamas is now facing federal charges. According to Colorado prosecutors, Mohammed Sabri Solomon, a 45-year-old Egyptian national, is facing a federal hate crime as well as 16 counts of attempted murder. Investigators have looked to a residence that they say is tied to the suspect. They are also going through his cell phone and computers.
Getting a live look now at Washington, D.C. The U.S. Senate continues debate in that building on the spending bill. It was recently passed in the House of Representatives, and there's actually debate over Medicaid.
As NBC's Alice Barr shows us, Democrats claim that plan cuts Medicaid and other programs, but Republicans say it is only ending taxpayer support for illegal migrants.
Tariff talks back in the spotlight this morning with reigniting tensions between the U.S. and China, threatening to derail trade negotiations, each side accusing the other of violating terms that led them to temporarily scale back steep tariffs. Administration officials have said President Trump and China's leader have to directly engage to get back on track.
I can confirm that the two leaders will likely talk this week.
That as higher steel and aluminum tariffs the president doubled to 50% are set to take effect tomorrow,
which will even further secure the steel industry in the United States.
The European Union says it's preparing countermeasures. Small businesses watching the shifting picture warily.
American businesses are paying these tariffs. I just know that we have 9 people, and if we don't get some relief soon of these tariffs, we're going to have 3 people.
It all comes as the Senate this week takes up President Trump's massive budget bill,
with the goal of getting the final bill to the president before the 4th of July.
It already passed through the House, but several Republican senators have voiced concerns over the projected increase to the deficit from extending major tax cuts and increasing defense and immigration spending, arguing there aren't enough spending cuts.
I would be very surprised if the bill at least is not modified in a good direction.
Even as protesters rallied against what the bill does slash to Medicaid and food assistance programs. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
We're just getting started this morning here on CoastTV News Today.
Coming up, potential parking options in Dewey Beach, a solution from town officials now moving forward to deal with the challenges of finding a spot for your car.
Also, Wallops worries how a proposed federal budget could impact jobs and tourism on the island.
And Disney layoff details what departments are dealing with after changes on Monday. All that and more as CoastTV News Today continues.
6:11 on this Tuesday morning. Hazy sunshine on the Bay Health Cam right now. 59 in Dover, 60 Indian River Inlet and Lewis. Inland areas, lower 50s, Delmarva through Gumboro, 49 in Harrington. So still a little cool, especially inland. We have a westerly breeze right now. That offshore wind means you're going to be a little warmer at the coast today. Otherwise, we're looking at clear skies, but you can see the hazy complexion to the sky with smoky conditions for today. We'll see the smoky conditions into the afternoon with high pressure overhead. Here's a bus stop forecast for the kiddos. 54 off to school, a little on the cool side. Hazy sunshine and cool this morning. Then heading home, more hazy, smoky skies and warmer heading home off from the school bus, and a temperature of 81 degrees.
The Delaware DMV is rolling out a new licensed transporter tag aimed at streamlining business for vehicle transporters. The LT tag allows qualified applicants to move unregistered vehicles, including mobile homes, without needing a temporary tag each time. People must complete an application, meet all requirements, and pay a $50 license fee plus $10 per plate annually. New in Sussex County, some of the smallest hands are making a big impact, one crayon at a time. On your screen right now are kindergarten and first grade students at Sussex Academy Elementary who collected nearly 113 pounds of used crayons for the Crayon Initiative. That's a nonprofit that recycles crayons into new ones for children in hospitals across the country. The kids helped weigh, sort, and organize the crayons by color while learning math, science, and the value of helping others. And for more information on this project, you can head to our website, CoastTV.com.
New in Worcester County, the health department there is offering free help to quit smoking or vaping. Classes are open to both adults and youth. Sessions start in late June and early July and are held in Snow Hill, Pocomoke, Berlin, and online. Organizers say trained instructors will guide you through stress management, communication skills, relapse prevention, and how to build your own quit plan. People can register online.
The Federal Trade Commission is investigating about a dozen media and advertising groups to see if they violated antitrust laws. The organization may have been involved in coordinating boycotts among advertisers they worked with. People familiar with the matter say the groups steered advertisers away from platforms where their messages may appear alongside hateful content. Advertisers say they have the right to spend their money on the channels that align with their values. FTC Chairman Andrew Ferguson believes the actions might constitute illegal boycotts.
Disney was far from the happiest place on earth for several hundred employees on Monday. That's how many the House of Mouse fired. The company says the layoffs are primarily jobs that work in marketing for movies and TV, publicity, casting and development. It's just the latest round of job eliminations that have become commonplace since Bob Iger returned to lead the company in 2022. Those cuts have been relatively small when compared to how many people Disney employs.
Sky's not looking too blue right now. In fact, kind of whitish on the Irish ice cam due to the haze and smoke out there. And we'll see more of that smoke from the Canadian wildfires today, with slowly improving conditions as we go through the week, and then temperatures soaring. That's the other story, into the 80s this week. I'll track the smoke and the summer-like temperatures in my full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
We're hitting 6:17 on this Tuesday morning. There's a live look at the canal in Lewis. Real nice looking shot there. Expecting some boating. We'll pick up a little bit later, but as you can see, also maybe getting a little bit of that wildfire haze in this shot, Bob.
Absolutely. Haven't seen a camera yet with the sunrise map, but I'm sure it was an orange ball coming up. That'll be the same for the sunset as well. So I guess that's the plus with these smoky conditions. The negative is, well, we're looking at the thickest smoke of this round moving in as we go throughout the day. This is mainly in the upper layers of the atmosphere. Don't think it's going to mix down to the surface as we go through the afternoon and evening hours, but if it does, we will certainly keep you apprised. But here's 7:30, and on our legend you can see the red color indicating the high levels of smoke, upper layers of the atmosphere. We still have that into Wednesday morning. A little bit improvement as we go into Wednesday afternoon over Delaware, but still kind of smoky aloft into Wednesday evening for Salisbury and Maryland. I think things will start to improve eventually as we go through the week. The other big story is the summer-like setup, the surge of warmth as high pressure moves offshore. We get into a southwesterly flow, a classic Bermuda high setup for warm weather across the East Coast and turning muggy as well. First 90-degree day possible don't think we're going to hit that, but definitely mid to upper 80s. Right now it's cool, 51 in Willage, 49 Harrington, Millsboro 55, Delmarva 52, 60 in Rehoboth and Lewis right now. We have a westerly breeze and an offshore winds means that at the beaches too, I think you'll be on the mild side today with temperatures into the 70s as we're looking at clear skies, the hazy conditions right now as we have high pressure just to our south, and eventually this high will shift offshore. Then we'll get into the real warmth and humidity as we go through the week. As the stormy weather is on the edge of this ridge across the plains, we're not going to see rain probably until the weekend. As we go through the morning, temperatures quickly warming mid-morning into the low 70s, 60s and 70s at the beaches, 80 in Long Neck by noon with upper 70s elsewhere. Then we're into the low 80s away from the coast later on with 70s at the beaches for a change. That'll be nice. And then this evening, we're going to see clear skies, not as chilly Wednesday morning with temperatures in the 50s and 60s, and then a bigger warm up as we go into Wednesday afternoon, 85 in Milton, Georgetown, Millsboro with 70s at the coast. So we're going to be adding some humidity to that as well with the southerly winds kicking in. And as we go to Thursday, cloud cover could put the lid on the high temperatures a little bit, but I'm still thinking mid to maybe some upper 80s as we go into your Thursday. Here's the muggy meter, and we're still looking, I think, at comfortable conditions as we go through this morning, but then we start getting into the muggy range as we go into Wednesday, then humid as we go through the end of the week. In fact, bordering on very humid as we head into Saturday. That's when we could see some showers and storms as a front is nearby. I think we'll see some of those showers and storms increasing into the afternoon. I think Sunday is drier and then possibly a coastal storm on Monday, possibly. So that could bring a soaking rain as we start the week next week. That wouldn't be necessarily a bad thing, as by then we'll probably need the rain. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, 82 sunshine today, mid-80s Wednesday. I think the smoke does start to disperse a little more by the end of the week. Thursday 87 with more clouds, Friday mid-80s, and then the shower and storm chance Saturday 84, cooler 79 and drier on Sunday, and then maybe a more significant rain by Monday and a high of 78.
Thank you, Bob. Happening today, Bridgeville's town leaders are set to meet tonight to discuss several important topics affecting the community. Key items on the agenda include an employment agreement for the town manager, continued discussions on fiscal year 2026 budget, and planning for large events, including a local golf tournament. Locals can attend in person or join online via Zoom. This will take place at 5:30.
Proposed cuts to a federal agency could hit close to home on Virginia's eastern shore. Billions of dollars could be slashed from NASA's budget. President Trump's proposed budget includes cuts to several programs. Funding for sounding rockets could be cut by more than 50%. There's no future funding for a balloon project, and those two programs, they do play a big role at Wallops Island in terms of jobs and tourism.
I don't know what the federal government's going to do. I'm hoping that they're not extreme, and I hope that people here are not affected by it, but if they are, we're going to have to figure out other things to do.
Trump's proposed budget does include an additional $650 million for human space exploration.
Up next on Coast TV News today, potential parking options in Dewey Beach. We'll tell you where a new parking facility could go in the town. Don't go anywhere. Some new parking options may be on the way to Dewey Beach. Town commissioners recently approved a conditional use application that will allow for a new public parking facility on the bay side of town at the former location of the Ivy restaurant. And local workers we spoke with say more parking is well needed.
Even just these past few weeks, it seems like there's more people coming in compared to last summer, and we definitely do need to add some more parking in.
Dewey Beach's parking season is underway. Officials recently approved an increased rate of $4 an hour, and that season will end on September 15th. Matt, today it might finally feel like what the calendar is saying, June, warmer temperatures. This is exciting stuff.
It is exciting. Bob, am I going to get my sunny and 75 at the beach? It's a good song.
You might just get that 75 at the beach, Matt, because it's been elusive so far this spring at the coast with mainly 60s. But I'm thinking low to mid 70s in Chincoteague with hazy, smoky skies. Assateague, low 70s for you. Rip current threat is low. UV index is high. Have that high SPF sunscreen. Waves around 1 to 2 feet. In Ocean City, I think you'll be in the low to mid 70s with sunshine this afternoon. It'll be very hazy and a beautiful sunset. And Fenwick Island, a little warmer for you into the upper 70s. On the Bayside, 82 in Cambridge today, 85 tomorrow, up to 87 Thursday. And these temperatures showing in Crisfield much cooler into the mid to upper 70s. I don't know, it might be a little warmer than that, more like into the low 80s. In any case, it's warm and it's going to get less smoky with time. I'll have much more on your forecast coming up in the next half hour.
And after the break on Coast TV News today, Fire Department funding, we'll tell you about the report set to be presented in front of the Sussex County Council today.
Also, substation situation deepens after an approval from a Delaware Senate committee. A decision from Sussex County is one step closer to being reversed.
And smoky skies continue. We'll tell you how those Canadian wildfires will impact us here on Delmarva. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Smoky skies today due to Canadian wildfires. The smoky conditions slowly improve over the next few days as temperatures soar into the 80s. I'll track the smoke and the warm temperatures coming up next.
Wind farm win. The Monday night move in the Delaware State Senate that could lead to overriding a Sussex County decision about the alternative energy project.
Airport upgrades. We look at the plans scheduled for review today in Georgetown.
Healthcare coming closer.
I'm really thankful for having an emergency room close by.
The approval in Millsboro for a new BB facility.
This is Coast TV News Today.
June 3rd, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
Time is 6:29, and we're continuing a stretch of pleasant conditions today.
Absolutely. I'm excited for some warmer weather. We had the rain, which was good for the grass.
Sure.
Everything is really green outside.
Yes.
Bob said it's a good day to cut the grass, be outside. So, Bob, that's what everyone needs on a Tuesday.
I think we do, and good morning, Elisa and Matt. Aside from the haze and smoke, it would be a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10 today, but we do have the hazy, smoky conditions from those Canadian wildfires as we go through the day. 49 in Harrington to start the day, chilly there, 55 Georgetown, 52 in Gumboro. These readings not as chilly as yesterday morning, but still on the cool side, 60 Indian River Inlet, 60 in Rehoboth, with a light westerly wind and an offshore wind for the coast. That means you'll be a little warmer. I think you'll be into the 70s this afternoon as we have clear skies, but you'll note it's hazy, the sky looking a little white instead of blue because we have the smoky conditions, and you'll be able to see that later on the midday newscast with the visible satellite picture. But the infrared satellite not really showing the smoke, but we have high pressure off to the south, but that smoke is flowing out of Canada through the Midwest into our neck of the woods. And we'll see warming temperatures this morning by mid-morning into the low 70s, upper 70s to around 80 in Long Neck by noon, and a lot of beach locations finally warming into the 70s, maybe 80 in Rehoboth with lower 80s from Millsboro and then points west. And pretty pleasant this evening. Should be a spectacular sunset with the smoky conditions. Drivecast this morning, I gave it the green light with clear skies, hazy conditions, hazy and smoky and sunny for later this afternoon and warmer as well with dry roads and pretty good visibility.
And our top story this half hour is the visibility issues that Bob just talked about coming from those Canadian wildfires. This is what people in Saskatchewan are experiencing. There are over 10 active wildfires in that province. Officials said firefighters from across Canada are helping to fight those flames, and states like North Dakota, Michigan, and Illinois telling residents to pay attention to air quality. Minnesota issued a red air quality alert through Monday night. And we have an update this morning to a story we've been covering for you over the past 2 years. On Monday, the Delaware Senate released from the Energy, Environment, and Transportation Committee Senate Bill 159. If approved, it would overturn the Sussex County Council's decision last year that rejected a proposed power substation near Millsboro. It is a piece of that wind farm project for our coast. A full Senate vote is scheduled for next week.
Happening today, potential change near the beach in Ocean City. Tonight, the town's Planning and Zoning Commission will review the site redevelopment plan of a proposed 135-room hotel. According to documents we've seen, the applicant is Studio 3877 on behalf of Harrison Group's Hotels. It's also part of the plans is a proposed 3,800 square foot public restaurant. The site is 2600 Baltimore Avenue. That's the current location of flagship Oceanfront Hotel.
We are now taking a live look at the Isle White Bay in Ocean City. That bay and other like it could get some help in the cleanup efforts. Today in Snow Hill, several grant requests are getting reviewed by the Worcester County Commissioners during a workshop. These include a matching grant of $850,000 for the Maryland Coastal Bays program. There is nearly $460,000 to support operations of the Circuit Court Family Services program. Scheduled later in that workshop is also a public hearing on CARES Act additional funding.
We have an update this morning on a study into the financial readiness of Sussex County's volunteer fire service. A presentation from officials is expected at today's Sussex County Council meeting. In a previous report given to Council, the consulting firm says the study looked at revenue, expenditures, and other challenges like infrastructure and volunteerism. The report says finances varied. Fire departments will have a chance to review the draft findings. That Sussex County Council meeting is today at 10 a.m. And also at that very same meeting, upgrade plans continue for the Delaware Coastal Airport in Georgetown. According to the Airport Advisory Committee, they are looking at a new parallel taxiway. Officials will discuss a FAA Airport Improvement Program grant along with construction bids.
BB Healthcare is one step closer to a Millsboro location with a unanimous vote from the Millsboro Town Council.
And CoastTV photojournalist Matt Hipsman shows us the impact of the council's decision.
This is a great time for us because, we've been on this journey for almost 2.5 years from when we got the approval from the state, bought the property, and then waited for DelDOT as they built the bypass. And so this opportunity to talk to the council officially and get site plan approval was a key milestone for our project.
I'm really thankful for having an emergency room close by, and glad that it's going to get moving. It's just been talked about, and it's good if it gets started. We've had all that construction from the overpass, and now we're going to have this, and like it all to be finished as soon as possible. So I live in Plantation Lake, so I was concerned that it would be something I could see from my home, and as it turns out, it's not. So this is a good thing as far as I'm concerned.
I will not be happy until we have the facility open and ready for patients so that we can provide that emergency room care and walk-in care as well as medical office care for the people who live in this county.
I'd like to start out tonight.
Happening today in Bethany Beach, discussion on the effects of the town's curfew. Police Chief Patrick Foley is scheduled to provide an update during the Police Accountability Committee meeting. Currently, people under 18 must abide by a curfew from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. According to the town, that means they're not allowed in any public places within that time frame. That meeting takes place today at 10 a.m.
New overnight, Colorado authorities say the man who used a makeshift flamethrower to attack people marching in support of Israeli hostages held by Hamas is now facing federal charges. According to Colorado prosecutors, Mohammed Sabri Solomon, a 45-year-old Egyptian national, is facing federal hate crimes as well as 16 counts of attempted murder. Now a rabbi is speaking of unity in the face of what he says is an anti-Semitic terror attack.
You can feel incredibly sad, you can feel angry, you can feel a whole range of emotions. And the most important thing is we're here together. We've got each other's backs. We're taking care of each other.
Investigators have looked to a residence that they say is tied to the suspect. They're also going through his cell phones and computers.
We have a lot more news to get to in this final half hour. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, possibility for peace. We tell you how Russia and Ukraine could be taking a step closer to de-escalation and what new events are putting a strain on that development.
Also, Sussex Tech comes up short. The late inning rally by the Ravens softball team in the state championship almost brought a title to Georgetown. Stay with us on CoastTV News today.
6:38 on this Tuesday morning. You can see the smoke and haze out there on the camera in Laurel right now, looking kind of orangey on the horizon. That'll be the case all day with the smoky conditions. 50s out the door, even 49 in Harrington right now, 60 in Ocean City, 60 in Lewis right now. As the winter calm inland areas and an offshore flow, that means you'll be a little warmer at the beaches. It's clear, but it is smoky and hazy out there. That'll be the case all day as we have high pressure just off to our south. And it looks like that smoke will be hanging around for a few days to come. Looks like a pretty smooth ferry ride up to Cape May with very light winds. That'll be nice. Lots of sunshine, hazy sunshine, and temperatures by afternoon into the mid-70s. And congratulations to Jerry Pirung from Milton on winning a brand new umbrella from Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling and Coast TV.
In Salisbury, the police department is now hiring, and they have a big incentive for those looking to join their team. The department is recruiting communications officers and offering a $10,000 sign-on bonus while positions remain open. That goes along with their comprehensive benefits package that includes paid leave, medical and dental coverage, tuition assistance, state retirement, and even an on-site gym.
If you're a teenager looking for a summer challenge, the Millsboro Police Department has just the opportunity for you. The Millsboro PD Youth Academy runs from July 10th to July 18th. It's from 8 a.m. to 3:30 at the Police Department on West Railroad Avenue. Participants will build leadership skills, boost confidence, and learn how to work as a team under pressure, all while getting stronger and faster. To join, people can register online.
Caravel continued its dynastic run, picking up its 5th consecutive state title, this time a 3-2 win over Sussex Tech, ending the Cinderella run for the Ravens. Sussex Tech stepped onto the diamond looking to be the lowest seed to ever win the Delaware State Championship. Runner at third with 2 outs in the first, Peyton Lawston grounds one to third and knocks in the first run for Caravel with the infield single. It's 1-0 Bucks. Same score in the 6th. Caravel adds some insurance with 1 out and a runner at second. Lawston knocks in her 2nd run of the game, but in the 7th, the Ravens won't quit. First, a sac fly from Adriana Heck makes it a 1-run game and advances the tying run to third. Then down to their final strike, Lewis whacks one to short and beats out the throw to tie the game and send it to extras. What a clutch swing. But with a runner at second and 2 outs in the bottom of the inning, Mackenzie Hunter comes through with a walk-off RBI single. The Bucks win the state championship 3-2. A wonderful season for Sussex Tech falls just short. Meanwhile, Caravel hoists its 15th state championship, the most in Delaware softball history. Reporting from the University of Delaware, Luke Milai, DSN.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 6:30, Bayside Soccer. First, it's the girls' All-Star Game. Then at 8:30, tune in for the boys' All-Star Game. And you can catch the final score at 10:30.
If you are having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday. And here's a look at what's coming up this afternoon on Coast Life at 4.
We hope you're having a good day so far, Coast Life, but we want you to tune in at 4 and see why we're going to be chatting about America Let's Roll, an awesome way to give back to the community.
Plus, we live in a place that people love to come to for vacation, so we're going to ask the big question, staycation or vacation? It's this week's great debate.
Can't go a Tuesday without it. All of that fun and more is coming up today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
Seeing smoky skies right now in the Irish Ice Cam. That'll be the case all day long due to those Canadian wildfires. We'll see the smoky conditions slowly improving as we go through the next couple of days as temperatures soar well into the 80s this week. I'll track the smoke and the summer-like temperatures coming up. My full forecast in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
6:45, and we are taking a live look outside at Laurel this morning. And Bob, we're seeing a little bit of that sun come up. It's a little orange outside. Could be from some of that haze from those Canadian wildfires that we were talking about. So there's not too much to worry. Obviously, if you have underlying health conditions, just be cautious, but don't get too worried.
That's right. I think that's the case, Elisa. I think that smoke that you're seeing is mainly aloft, and the Weather Service offices have not issued air quality alerts, so they're thinking that the smoke will remain aloft, and there's a low chance it could mix down at times, and that's why if you suffer from health problems, it's best to stay inside in filtered air and cooler air the next couple of days. As we're looking at that smoke, now you look at the legend, you start seeing the orange and red colors. That's indicating very high levels of smoke. Once again, in the the upper layers of the atmosphere where the jets fly, and we'll be seeing that as we go through the day today. You can see how that orange and red color moves right over the top of us as we go into this afternoon and this evening. Should be a spectacular sunset with the orangey horizon out there. That's what we're seeing now, and still some of that thick smoke as we go into Wednesday morning, but then there's a little sliver of where it's not smoky over Delaware, but it's still smoky across areas of Delmarva farther south of Salisbury as we go into Wednesday evening. So I think eventually that will start to disperse as we go through the week. In the meantime, the other big story is a Bermuda high taking shape, and that's a summer-like pattern for us as we go through the week, as we open up the floodgates with the southwesterly flow for the warmth and the humidity, with highs in the 80s, maybe 90, but I'm thinking mainly 80s and turning muggy as we go through the week. Right now, it's cool out there with temperatures in the 50s. In fact, lower 50s in Willard, Salisbury, and Harrington, 55 in Millsboro and Georgetown, 61 Indian River Inlet, 60 in Lewis right now. Winds are calm, but it's an offshore wind, so I think the beaches finally warm up today into the 70s as we have clear skies. We have that area of high pressure off to the south, or just off to our south and west, so it is a little stagnant under there, under that ridge, and with the smoke in place, does not help, but eventually that ridge will build offshore. We'll get into a southwesterly flow, and any kind of storminess is right on the edge of this ridge across the plains. That's where it's stormy. It's going to stay out there for a while. We don't get any rain really until the beginning of the weekend. But today on Featurecast, you can see how temperatures quickly rising this morning. By noon, 70s to around 80 in Long Neck, and then even 70s, Fenwick Island, Bethany Beach, Ocean City, Rehoboth. That's good. So 70s at the coast with lower 80s inland as we go into the afternoon hours. A pleasant evening, but once again, a little smoky. And then we go through the overnight clear skies and temperatures by morning into the 50s and 60s. Then it really warms up Wednesday, mid-80s from Salisbury to Millsboro and Ellendale by the middle of Wednesday afternoon, and well into the 70s at the coast. And then Thursday, we have some clouds moving in, so that could affect high temperatures a little bit. This model has mid-80s. I think we could be a little warmer, and that's what I went, upper 80s. We're looking at comfortable conditions today, but then turning muggy as we go into Thursday, and then humid as we go into the end of the week, almost bordering on very humid as we go into the weekend. And that's when we get some relief. We get some clouds, slightly cooler temperatures, and showers and thunderstorms, I think, Saturday afternoon and evening. I know not the best timing, but by that time we'll need the rain. I think we get a break Sunday, and then there could be a more important system that brings steady to maybe heavy rain as we go into your Monday. Here's your Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Dry the rest of the week, and temperatures warming up. 82 today, 85 Wednesday, Thursday 87. More clouds, still warm Friday, and then that shower and storm chance on Saturday, 84, cooling down to 79, dry Sunday, maybe a more significant rain on Monday, and a high of 78.
Thank you, Bob. With Pride Month underway, Delaware is taking action in support. Governor Matt Meyer has appointed 9 people to the state's first ever LGBTQ+ commission. Meyer says the commission will focus on key policy areas like mental health, education, housing, and civil rights. And according to Meyer, this will help shape policies to improve healthcare access and safety for LGBTQ+ Delawareans. Vice Chair Vienna Cavazos, John Kane, and Leslie Lediger are from Sussex County.
New overnight Russian and Ukrainian delegates met in Istanbul on Monday for a second set of direct peace talks. But as the attempts at diplomacy continue, so does the fighting.
Monday's talks came just after a day that Ukraine launched a shock drone attack on Russian air bases in an operation President Zelensky said was a year and a half in the making. CNN's Reed Binion shows us how the new attacks could impact peace talks.
A brilliant operation was conducted on the enemy's territory against military targets only.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky speaking about a bold surprise attack on Russian air bases Sunday.
Against equipment that was used to deliver strikes on Ukraine. Russia has had very tangible losses, and justifiably so, as they deserved it.
Ukrainian officials said 41 Russian aircraft were hit, including strategic bombers. It's not clear how many were taken completely out of action. The attacks targeted airfields deep inside Russia, the farthest one roughly 2,800 miles from its border with Ukraine. Ukrainian officials said operatives smuggled the drones into Russia, where they were then hidden in mobile wooden sheds and launched once they were near the targets. Russian officials downplayed the attack, saying some strikes were repelled, but several pieces of aircraft caught fire after attacks in other areas. It came just a day before Russian and Ukrainian delegates met in Istanbul for their second set of direct peace talks. The talks started late, lasted just over an hour, and ended with no major breakthrough. They agreed to work on a new prisoner exchange, but statements from both sides suggested little was achieved to bridge the large gap between their positions, especially regarding a ceasefire. I'm Reed Binion reporting.
It is 6:51, so we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
And today's coastal pet of the day, taking advantage of the sun after that stretch of rainy weather we've seen. This pup was submitted to us by Charlie in Ocean City. Love that
Charlie
picture.
looks like he's living a good life, and we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
Yeah, scan that QR code at the top. That way you can get your friends to us at Coast TV News. Then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
It is 6:54 and it's time for the things you need to know before you go. Potential change near the beach in Ocean City. Tonight, the town's Planning and Zoning Commission will review site redevelopment plans for a proposed 135-room hotel. According to documents we have seen, the applicant is Studio 3877 on behalf of Harrison Group's Hotels. Also part of those plans is a proposed 3,800 square foot public restaurant. That site is at 2600 Baltimore Avenue, the current location of the flagship Oceanfront Hotel.
This morning, a study into the financial readiness of Sussex County's volunteer fire service. A presentation from officials is expected at today's Sussex County Council meeting. In a previous report given to Council, the consulting firm says the study looked at revenue expenditures and other challenges like infrastructure and volunteerism. That report says finances varied. Fire departments will have a chance to review the draft findings, and that Sussex County Council meeting takes place today at 10 a.m.
Proposed cuts to a federal agency could hit close to home on Virginia's eastern shore. Billions of dollars could be slashed from NASA's budget. President Trump's proposed budget includes cuts to several programs. Funding for sounding rockets could be cut by more than 50%. And there is no future funding for that balloon project, two programs that play a major role at Wallops Island in terms of jobs and tourism.
Some new parking options may be on the way to Dewey Beach. Town commissioners recently approved a conditional use application that will allow for a new public parking facility on the bay side of town. This will be at the former location of the Ivy Restaurant. Dewey Beach's parking season is underway. Officials recently approved an increased rate of $4 per hour. Parking season ends on September 15th.
It is 6:56, so we're going to take another look at our forecast. It should be a lot warmer.
It sounds that way, and even though we have that haze from those Canadian wildfires, Bob, it doesn't look like it'll have a big impact on the health here.
No, it should not. It looks like a lot of that smoke stays aloft today, but it is pretty thick. You can see the red color building into Delmarva. That's indicating all that thick smoke, but aloft as we go through the day. We're looking at temperatures warming up quickly through the 60s and 70s this morning, and then lower 80s as we go into the afternoon and 70s at the beaches. Paul Davis 10-day forecast. The smoke should start to disperse here in the next couple of days. 85 with sunshine Wednesday. We're going to add some humidity to the mix too, getting muggy by the end of the week. 87 Thursday with more clouds. Friday 86, and then we get a little break on Saturday with some showers and storms. 84 dries out on Sunday, 79, and maybe a more important rain system by Monday, 78 degrees, and then we're back into the 80s beginning Tuesday, up to 85 by Thursday, and partly cloudy skies.
All right, thank you, Bob, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News today.
And the Today Show is coming up next at 7 a.m.
Then we'll be back for Coast TV midday at 11.
And for even more news and coverage you can count on, download our Coast TV News and weather apps. Have a great Tuesday morning, everybody.